So Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez hit back against Donald Trump following a comment he made against a Green New Deal. Now, the Green New Deal, of course, has recently been unveiled. It's pretty ambitious policy proposals and goals that will help us get to carbon neutral within the next 10 years. So it's very ambitious. And of course, both Republicans and establishment Democrats are not exactly in favor of it, which is no surprise. But Trump actually said something against it and against AOC, sort of. And that's interesting in itself, but we'll break that down. Now, responding to a comment President Trump made to Breitbart News, he called the proposal, quote, "It sounds like a high school term paper that got a low mark." So it didn't really address her, but it was her piece of legislation. Now, she said in response, yes, a man who can't even read briefings written in full sentences is provided literary criticism of a House resolution." And of course, she provided a quote here from the Washington Post on Donald Trump's reading habits. It said, "Reading in the intelligence book is not Trump's preferred style of learning, according to a person with knowledge of the situation." And look, during one of the hearings, Lindsey Graham had said that Trump was he's a one-pager kind of guy. Basically, you can only get him to pay attention enough to read one page, and that's it. You can't get his attention. He will read no more. That's weird because when you're president, you're actually supposed to read briefings and actually be educated and, pay attention to meetings and things for more than a few minutes or more than a page. So, anyway, now I'll give you more of that article. "It's been widely reported that Trump doesn't like to read intelligence briefings and prefers all his briefings from staff and advisors to be submitted in easy-to-read format, such as a half a page with killer graphics and maps, or tweet-length segments with his name peppered in so that he pays attention." Nice. He's literally the dumbest, laziest president in modern history. Even Ann Coulter knows. Even Ann Coulter says, yeah, he is lazy, he is dumb, he is incompetent. The only reason that we voted for him is so that he could get a giant wall to keep scary brown people out. Whereas AOC is barely a congresswoman, right? She's been barely a congresswoman for very long, but she's already changed the conversation on healthcare, climate change, and has actually put some big ideas on the map. And that's a lot of accomplishments in a very short amount of time. Not only that, but she also beat one of the most established Democrats, the number 2 Democrat in the House, one of the ones that raised some of the most money and was expected to take over the speakership position after Nancy Pelosi. So, again, huge accomplishments, right? Now, as far as Trump, anybody think he actually read any part of that resolution? Any part of it? Any part of the proposal? No, of course, he 100% did not read that. That is literally 14 pages long. He's a one-pager kind of guy. He can't get through that. It's too much. It's too much. But one interesting thing about this, right, is that, yes, he went after the Green New Deal. He didn't go after AOC specifically, though. He refuses to openly attack her. This is the closest he's ever gotten. You know why? I think he's terrified of her. I think he's terrified. Why? Because she is smarter than he is. He's not a smart person. Not only that, but she's also, at least in politics, seemingly more accomplished. I know. You're like, what? What are you talking about? He's president of the United States. Okay, fair point. But then again, he ran against Hillary Clinton, someone who was widely despised. And look, she ran without any money against one of the most established Democrats in the House, who thought of her as so little of a significant threat that he literally put up somebody else to debate in his place against her. So when it comes to politics, she is actually really accomplished, whereas he, not so much. But again, I think that's why he does not want to touch her. And not only that, but she's really accomplished on social media. She knows how to fight. And she has the facts on her side. And that's one thing that President Trump can't stand. He has a war on facts. He has a war on logic and reason. And when somebody comes at him who is smart and internet, social media savvy, he can't go up against it. He knows he's going to lose. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent, progressive media.